So we're going on to our next topic, another film that came out in 2020, like Trials of the Chicago 7 did. So still on the road to the top 10 of 2020. A very different film. We're talking Pieces of a Woman, a film that I think just recently got put on Netflix in 2020. I don't know, that I could be completely lying about that. Yeah, so what is Pieces of a Woman about? I don't really want to spoil anything about it, so it's gonna be a very vague description. It's about a couple that pretty much how it goes through how they deal with something horrible that happened to them. And I'm not going to say what that is because I didn't particularly know going in, and I feel like, you figure it out, in the very beginning, obviously, and you can kind of assume what happens, but I don't know, just the way it happens is just so horrible. And it's just kind of how they deal with it and how it kind of just destroys their worlds. So yeah, let's go. The cast is really strong. I think, honestly, the three main ones are Vanessa Kirby, Shia LaBeouf, who's honestly incredibly underrated in my opinion, and Ellen Bernstein are like the three major highlights. There's also Sarah Snooks in it for sort of a minor role. If you don't know who she is, she's in this film called Predestination, which is a really awesome hard sci-fi film that I highly recommend. If you want to watch a sci-fi film that's weird and about time travel, watch Predestination. It's really great, and she's incredible in that movie. Benny Safdie's in it, which I thought was kind of cool. One of the Safdie brothers, the dudes who were behind Good Time and Uncut Gems, two fantastic films, and he's in it, which I thought, and he was really good in it too, in this like minor role. Eliza Schlesinger, the comedian's in it too, which I thought was kind of random, but she's fine. She does decently well. But anyway, so not incredible major names, but the first three that I mentioned will probably all get nominated for Oscars for this one. This is a type of film that the Oscars just absolutely, love nominating. This is kind of it shares a similar genre of like a Blue Valentine or a Manchester by the Sea or a more classic film, Sophie's Choice, Meryl Streep's arguably best performance. Films that you really don't want to rewatch, like at all, but are incredibly good films that are probably a little bit are important for you to watch because they deal with such heavy emotional topics that can be productive to watch, especially if you're going through like a grieving process yourself at a certain point in time. It could also be emotionally too hard for you, and I completely understand because if you watch my Sound of Metal review, I said that film was emotionally hard to deal with. This one, holy shit, blows it out of the water. I was like, holy crap. Now, that doesn't mean it's better than Sound of Metal at all, but we'll get into that a little bit. But I can also see how this can be very therapeutic to some people. But yeah, so, and the film does leave you in a good place at the end, which I feel is pretty important to films like this. Oh, sorry, something just kind of popped up on my computer. Get that out of here. Get that shit out of here. I don't want to update anything. Relax. I don't want to restart my computer. I'm recording a podcast. Damn it. Come on, computer. Stop screwing me up. Anyway, so Pieces of a Woman. What does this film do really well? Well, almost everything. Again, I don't really have a lot to criticize, but let's go over what is amazing about this film. Starting off in the very beginning, has this really incredible long take, no cut scene that seems to go on for a long time. I want to say it's probably around 15 minutes. It could be shorter, could be longer, but I'm not really paying attention of how long it is. I was just kind of my jaw drops. I was like, what? This is this is not cutting. This is just, it just keeps going. And I'm like, what? Hands down, best scene of the year. I was like, and it takes you on this like insane emotional journey. You know, it starts off pretty heartfelt and kind of funny, and then it starts getting a little bit more serious. You're like, okay, I see where this is going. Holy shit. Oh boy. Oh boy. And then it just like leaves you in this, like, you know, it's so suspenseful, and you're like, oh, okay, never mind. Nothing bad happened. And then it's like, oh no. Oh my, oh no. And it just leaves you in this like horrible state of mind. You're like, oh my God, this is what this film is going to be about. Okay, let me prepare myself. Let me prepare my tear ducts in my eyes to absolutely go off. Like, Jesus Christ. Such an emotionally heavy film. The dialogue in the film is written, I feel like, incredibly well, but this also could be contributed to the actors' amazing performances. I just kind of want to touch on Shia LaBeouf a little bit. Like, just his ability to make dialogue feel so natural and intimate is almost unlike any actor I've ever really seen. I don't know, like, I've watched, you know, going back, I watched The Peanut Butter Falcon, and that film probably would have definitely been in my top 10 of 2019, but it wasn't because I didn't watch it when I made that. But, like, I don't know, I've seen his films in these smaller roles, and it's just his delivery is just so real. I don't know, it's just different. It's just something different about it. I don't know, I feel Shia LaBeouf is just such an underrated, like, amazing actor. Like, I honestly think he might be one of the best I've seen, like, ever. Like, especially in this film, I was like, whoa, man. Like, his performance in this is ridiculous. And weirdly, not even the best performance in the film, which is saying a lot. So, I mean, also, Vanessa Kirby, the main lead of this film, she plays Martha. Should definitely win Best Actress, hands down, I think. I mean, she has the best performance of the year, just like in general, hands down. Probably the best performance I've seen. She's so good. Also, Ellen Bernstein, who plays her mother, is also really great. I think all three of them they deserve a nomination, and because they just deliver these lines so naturally. I mean, it could also be the writing, but it's also, you gotta hand it to the actors. Just, you can just tell that they know they know what's up, you know, especially when like with people dealing with certain issues. And just certain scenes are just so hard to watch, not because it's graphic or, you know, anything. It's just like just what's being talked about, and just like uncomfortable scenes, especially if you've experienced a certain moment like that in your life, or like certain conversations that you've experienced that are just so emotionally charged. It's like it like kind of takes you back, and it's just kind of hard to watch sometimes other people go through the similar things. So yeah. And that just also leads me to another big praise that I have for this film. It does a lot, and it covers a lot about what going through grief feels like, especially from someone that I've gone through. I mean, I haven't gone through anything like the characters in this film go through, but, you know, I've experienced, you know, a loss of a loved one, and have experienced grief before, and the process of going through that, you know, and just how, like, you know, people act differently around you, like, knowing this happened to you. And it's just like they just don't know what to say or what to do around you, so they just kind of end up making you feel a lot more isolated than you are even feeling, you know? Like, they just, you know, they try to console you, but they end up just kind of making you feel different and weird. And it's just such a weird encounter, you know? And I've experienced this with people that I know and still know today that are great friends. It's just, And I understand, like, you don't know. Like, you just don't know what I'm going through right now. So you can't help me. Like, there's no possible way that you can help me right now. And that's kind of what leads people with being just like pushing people away when they are grieving, because it's like, you can't fucking help me right now, and anything that you say is just going to make it worse. So honestly, the best way that people can really do is just be there, just be around. Like, don't bring it up, just be there, just be there for them. And that's probably the most important thing that you probably could do with someone that you care about who's grieving. Just be there. And like, in how, like, other things, just when you can't go outside your house or wake up and without thinking of what happened to you and like what you lost or never really had. Like, you go outside and you see everything around you and other people, and everything just reminds you of that thing that happened, or that person that you lost, or that thing that you just never had in the first place. Like, that like really spoke to me. Like, there's certain scenes that just really spoke to me, and I thought that was really great. And like how like the whole phrase, like, it's even brought up in the film at the end that, oh, time heals all wounds, and like how the fact that's just complete bullshit. Like, time does not heal your wounds. You just have to have time go by to have you learn to deal with your wounds. Like, the wounds are still there, it's just scar tissue now, you learned to live with it. It never goes away. It's never gone. It's always with you, and it's always gonna be with you. Time doesn't heal shit. You just learn to deal with it and learn how to take that pain and, form it and construct it to have you become a better person. That's, you just provide yourself with more knowledge about the world. Like, now when you see someone going through something similar, like, you've been there. It provides you with a certain amount of understanding, which is very important. Another thing that the film does really well is its use of symbolism. When you're watching it, just kind of think, take a look at the apples and the use of apples in the film. I thought that was really clever, and I thought it was really well done and very powerful, especially with the very end. I thought was really great. And this also kind of leads in to some of my random critiques of the film. It also uses this bridge construction, like this construction of a bridge, as a symbol, I guess, of, Martha, the main character, like, getting over her pain and dealing with her pain, I guess, as it's completing. And like, the problem with this is nothing really like film like based. It's just, I work in construction, and I know a bridge of that size is probably not getting completed over the winter months, especially if any concrete or any asphalt pavement is used, because it's cold. Not a lot of work can be done in the cold. There's a reason why construction workers and people who work in construction are laid off during the winter, like me, because nothing really can be done in the cold. I mean, you can pour concrete in the cold, but you need like industrial-sized heaters to heat it, to keep it warm, because if concrete does not cure at a certain temperature, like, it's not going to hold the right load that it was designed for. And that's kind of fucking important, especially when you're constructing a giant bridge over a river, So I thought it was kind of stupid how the bridge was like kept getting progressed over like December, January, and February. I was like, it's not really realistic, because that construction won't be working. But I mean, I get it. You want the pain to be dealt with over the winter months because it's cold and depressing and adds to the tone of the film. I get it, whatever. But it just kind of bothered me because I work in the construction industry and I like know how it works. It was just weird. And it's a weird gripe. It's really nothing like wrong with the film. It just kind of bothered me. I don't know. Probably a unique perspective for that. But anyway, just nothing else really bothered me about the film at all. I don't really have any other gripes about it. I mean, it's filmed incredibly well. It's directed. It's acted. It's really great. I mean, the only criticism I think is probably kind of similar to Sound of Metal, but I honestly think Sound of Metal is a little bit more rewatchable than this one, because this one, I mean, again, it shares that genre of like a Sophie's Choice and Manchester by the Sea, where it's just like, it's just so emotionally devastating. You just never want to watch it again. Like, I'm never going to watch this movie again. I'll recommend it, but like, it always has to come with a disclaimer that, hey man, prepare to be emotionally devastated by this one. Like, I'll never show someone and watch this film with someone. You know, like, it's a good film to just watch by yourself. Kind of like, but like Sound of Metal, it's different in that, because I feel like Sound of Metal, like, I would rewatch and show someone a little bit. I don't know. I think Sound of Metal just, it's not as depressing, I feel like, as the other one, even though it's also pretty devastating at times. So, yeah. I mean, overall, Pieces of a Woman is a spectacular film, but I think it's definitely one of the best, films of the year. But I don't know. It might be in my top 10. It might not. You're just gonna have to stay tuned. It definitely has one of the best, if not the best, performance of the year, with Vanessa Kirby as Martha. Even Shia LaBeouf too is incredible. It definitely has one of the best. It has the best scene of the year, hands down. I mean, just jaw-dropping scene. And it's so long too. I was like, wow, this really isn't cutting. I mean, incredible direction. The ability to get these performances out of your actors is something special. And, it's just one of those films that I'm not going to rewatch, and that definitely, that hurts. That hurts the film, in my opinion. Like, it's, other films that I feel like are rewatchable, that I'm going to rewatch, are going to be more favorite. Like, I'm going to hold a higher esteem for, Plus, there's other films out there that are more entertaining and more rewatchable and still have a similar message and similar themes about grief and how people deal with it, that are just more entertaining and more rewatchable than this one. So, yeah, we'll see. I don't know. It definitely deserves to be in the top 10, but I don't know if it's going to be. We'll see. I'll have to take a look at my top 10 list, and you'll figure out hopefully by the end of the week. Hello there. I hope you enjoyed that video. If you're unfamiliar with this channel, this is Nerd Out Sanctuary. I'm your host, Michael. What do I talk about, you say? Well, I talk about anything nerdy. So that's movies, video games, TV shows, comic books every once in a while. Books, maybe not. I don't know. Anything that I feel like talking about. I'm a huge nerd. I hope you're a huge nerd, and I hope we can enjoy our nerdiness together here. This is a full audio podcast available on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, the major podcast platforms. So consider going over to those and checking out the full version of the episode. And other past episodes, please leave me a review and subscribe on those platforms. If you don't want to do that, clipped, shorter versions of those full episodes will be posted here on YouTube. So consider subscribing and liking the videos for more to support me and future content that I will be producing in the future on nerdy stuff. So yeah, thank you, and see you on the next one.